Hello and welcome to the Delta Analysis video. Today's Delta Crustle Berry, which is the first of two Delta Crustals. It is a grass and poison type, which defensively is not terrible, but it does have like 4 weaknesses, being flying, fire, ice, and psychic. If I forgot any, grass might have more weaknesses. Grass has too many weaknesses. Um, but yeah, it's not that bad, and offensively you are basically walled by steel types for the most part. But yeah, and also poison types. But I'm just gonna say this thing gets earthquake, so it's not that big of a deal. Um, Looking at stats, 70 HP, 125 defense, 75 defense is pretty good, especially physically. It's very bulky. 95 attack is solid, and 65 special attack doesn't matter. 45 speed, annoying but workable. I should calculate something in a bit, but yeah, I should have done that before. Um, Looking at its abilities, it gets Harvest, which is pretty cool for reusing berries. Leaf Guard, which I genuinely don't know what it does. It means that in Sunny Day you cannot be saddest, and Chlorophyll in Sun you have doubled speed, which is stupid. Um, but I'm going to calculate how fast you actually are in Sun. Um, say you outspeed like base 140, I think. Uh, you outspeed base 140. No, you just undershoot base 140, which is Mega Mewtwo Y, which you probably won't face anyway. But anything slower, you outspeed, which is great. A plus 2 AK in Sun. So Chlorophyll means you're pretty fast, and that's good. But you not still lack a lot of speed to outspeed the Scarfers, like base 80, base 90 Scarfers. They still outspeed you, which is kind of annoying, but it's better than nothing. Some utility that gets light screen or reflect, which is good for setup. Synthesis, recovery is always good. Knockoff is always good to remove items. Spike, toxic spike for hazard, especially toxic spike can be really good. And Thunder Wave as status also obviously gets toxic. Basically everything gets toxic. But Thunder Wave is good for like slowing down things, and it's really annoying to deal with. Yeah, that's basically that. The first set, not a surprise probably. The sunset with chlorophyll. Special is not really viable. Its special coverage is literally stab. Although it does get like corrode, but its special coverage is literally stab. And for some reason electro web. Why does this thing get electro web? Regardless. Physical is a lot better. Swords Dance, Leaf Blade, Gunk Shot, Earthquake. I don't know why I didn't give this thing Solar Blade. I could be convinced to give this thing Solar Blade, but for now it doesn't have Solar Blade. It just has Leaf Blade, which is still good, just not as good. But it also is usable outside of Sun. So it's still, regardless, a good option, even if I decide to give this thing Solar Blade. You're gonna knock off if you want to cover the psychic or ghost types, desperately, or Accessor if you want to cover a dark type, or yeah, that's basically it. Otherwise, you run knockoff. Sunny Day if you want to manually set it up for yourself, or any of the other utility moves I previously mentioned, like hazards, or if you want to run like Thunder Wave, Synthesis, something like Synthesis is also like good in Sun because it heals more, which is nice. But yeah, that's basically the idea of the Sunset. It's gonna be kind of fast, and hopefully it will break reasonably well. It has coverage to hit basically everything super effectively except the steel types that are immune to ground. Um, and you can learn like knockoff for things like Bronzong. Skarmory and Steel and Corviknight is going to be extreme issues though. Did you get a Weather Ball? Did I give it a Weather Ball? I did not. I could also be convinced to do that, to be honest. But that would be a cool way to deal with those, although you're not going to be very strong, especially. But yeah. I don't know why I gave this thing so little. I should have given this thing more. It deserves it. Um, the second set is not really a set because I just want to like discuss harvest as an ability for this thing. As I said, item berry time. You can literally run any berry on this because it's a harvest set. I picked some berries that are like somewhat relevant. Select is very cool because if you like sword sense select set, um, you can like sword sense, pop the select, or like make it gets endure, right? It should get endure. Yeah, it gets endure, so you can like source sense endure for the select, then kill something. Hopefully, select comes back and then it automatically pops again, so you have +2 speed, and then that way you can kind of like snowball. Maybe you can get to +4. You are kind of bulky, so like you see what I'm trying to say here. It could snowball, although you are relying on multiple select berry pops, harvest triggering. So yeah, otherwise, like you need to get like +3 to be like actually better than the sunset. At which point I've just like run sunny day plus um plus chlorophyll. But if you do have sun support with this, you can like synthesis stall much better. Um, you harvest is guaranteed to pop, so like it does still have sun utility, but some sun utility, but it's not really. If you're gonna run sun, you're gonna run chlorophyll basically. IPAP or citrus are cool for recovery, but you still do get synthesis, so maybe rather run synthesis. But if you don't want to waste the move slots, then it's still a viable solution to that. IPAP does heal a third of your max HP, but only triggers under a quarter, and Citrus Berry heals a quarter, but only triggers under half. Well, it triggers under half, which is a lot better than IPAP or any of the other 50%. No, I'm used to calling them 50% berries. The 33% berries, they all work as long as your nature is not causing you to get confused when you eat them. Um, Moringa is cool. Key is the same thing, but on the physical side. Moringa means that when you get hit by a special attack, your special defense raises by 1 stage. So you can get really, really bulky with that. That's why I think Moringa is better because your physical defense is already base 125, which is pretty good. But with Moringa Berry, you can boost your special defense as well. Um, I looked, it doesn't get anything like acid armor, it doesn't get iron defense. So that's unfortunate. So you can't really. You do get a reflecting light screen, so I guess you could double your defenses with that as well. You can also run like resist berries, like um, I'm trying to switch in on a, let's say, what's a good example? Um, say you're going on in on a Celeste when you're very specially defensive. Um, it goes to Fire Blast, but you have Okaberry, then you trigger Harvest, get Okaberry back, and then you can kill Earthquake back. Although the problem is that they know you have it back, and it's not really a surprise. So they can like anticipate you not dying and switch out themselves. Which like it's better than sacking yourself for no reason basically. So like there's a potential here, a lot of potential. You can run this defensively with spikes, toxic spikes. Like if you're gonna run a defensive set, utility set, I don't see a reason not to run harvest. But and you don't have to run a berry if you run harvest, obviously. But you have more of a reason to run berries because you have the chance of getting them back. That's basically what I'm saying. Um, you get some cool moves. You get foul play. You get horn claws. You get belch if you want to run special. You can run belch with the berry. Um, you get bug bite. I don't know how bug bite interacts with harvest to be honest, but it does get it. Anything else fun? It gets ingrain if you want to run like really tank set, like you run ingrain, leech seed, harvest with like citrus berry, and then you're like, I'm never going to die. Or like dual screens, that's too many moves probably. But yeah, you get gyro ball, which is kind of cool if you want to run really slow. You can run like Endeavor doesn't really work. Yeah, I think I cover most of like the gimmick sets. I think there's some cool options here, and I could see people getting really creative with this thing, but it's good, but it's often just overshadowed by the other Crustle, so people don't really think about this thing. But honestly, it's not bad. It's a decent little sun sweeper, though it's kind of slow for that. And it has some decent utility, like really annoying utility. Leech Seed is always good. Toxic Spike is always good. Regular Spike is always good. Um, Knockoff is always good. So like it's a decent option. Although I would never actually get it over like Vileplume or Venusaur. Like as a Sun Sweeper, it's just not as good as Venusaur, Vileplume, Victory Bell, which if all three have the exact same typing. So yeah, like maybe it's better than Vileplume in Sun, but Vileplume still get a Weather Ball, I think. Vileplume with it doesn't get Weather Ball. Do I have this format? I didn't have the format set. What the hell? Uh, well, no, it is. I don't know if Vileplume can deal with steel types, but yeah, the other two I definitely get over this instead. But it's not as good as them, but it still has some cool potential, and I like it for that. So that's probably gonna be it. Next up is the better Crustle, the cake Crustle. Very infamous if you know what it does. It's very infamous for good reason because it's absolutely terrifying. And yeah, see y'all then. Goodbye.